Mabuhay! Ako po si Deborah Garcia. Hi, I'm Deborah Garcia, and welcome to another lesson where you will learn practical Filipino language in just few minutes. This is brought to us by NEC TV, the local TV channel here in Nipua, Manitoba. We want to hear your thoughts about our lessons, so if you have some comments or suggestions, please write them below or you can send them directly to nectv@wcgwave.ca. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and please like and share this video. Finally, we're done discussing all the parts of speech, so today's lesson and the next lessons will be focused on how to construct sentences in Filipino. And this is mostly conversational Filipino because I want you to talk the way Filipinos talk. But we cannot put away the topic on how to construct sentences the formal way because that is how we write in Filipino. Even during this time, it's already modern, but when you are reading newspapers or when you are reading an announcement, we are still using the formal way of constructing our sentences. Today, I'm going to help you understand the differences between the sentence structure of the English language and the sentence structure of the Filipino language. In the past lessons, we always write our sentences in Filipino and then I translate them in English and then we convert them into conversational Filipino. But then today, for a change, I'm going to start writing the sentences in English first and then I'm going to translate them in Filipino. In that way, we would be able to see the differences between the English sentence and then the way the Filipino sentence is constructed. In English, there are these two very basic and very simple sentence patterns. And we have these sentence patterns in Filipino too. So we'll start comparing the sentences in English and in Filipino using these patterns. So the first pattern is what we call the SVO. SVO stands for subject, verb, object. And this is the pattern that we always use when we are starting to construct sentences. We'll use this as an example. So we'll say, for example, Mary drinks coffee. Our subject is Mary. The subject is the doer of the action. Our verb is drinks. This is the action. The object is coffee. The object is a thing that receives the action, which is drinks. This is what we call the SVO pattern. The second pattern is the SVA, which stands for subject, verb, adjective. For example, let's use Mary still. So Mary is happy. Mary is the subject. Is our verb, it's the linking verb, and happy is our adjective. Now, this is how we write in English. But if I am going to translate these sentences in Filipino, there are some elements here that will be interchanged. I'm going to show it to you in the next examples. Let's take a look at this sentence. So it says, they are selling exotic food. So let us identify our subject first. Our subject is they. Our verb, our complete verb, so there's a linking verb and the main verb, so this is our complete verb, are selling. And exotic food is our object. So this sentence is an SVO pattern. If I'm going to translate this in Filipino, I would say, so I'm going to translate it word for word first. So they means sila. If you can still remember in our past lessons, I always use this subject. So it's a pronoun, sila. And remember, our linking verb, whatever it is, are, am, was, were, it would always be I. Sila, I. Selling is in the present tense, so sell means tinda, to sell. So it's tinda. Selling is in present tense, so it's nagtitinda. Sila ay nagtitinda. And then our object would be the exotic food. But we need to add this word because in Filipino, we always have this one like, it functions like a preposition actually in Filipino. But it's not really a preposition because when you translate this sentence from English to Filipino, you didn't use, in English, we don't use a preposition here, but in Filipino, we need to add this one. Nang is like of, but this functions as an object marker. When you use this one, it means the next, it used to introduce an object. So this is our object, so it's exotic food. So we don't have a direct translation of exotic food, so we just got the exotic food. So in Filipino, we say, sila ay nagtitinda ng exotic food. And this is a complete sentence. It's the correct structure. However, if you notice in our previous lessons, when we use this word I, which is the linking verb, I told you that this sentence would be in the passive voice. That's one difference. In English, SVO pattern is in active voice. But when you translate it this way, in Filipino, this is how we form our passive voice. This is not the active voice. And when we talk, we always use the active voice, just like in English, right? In English, you form your passive voice in a different way. How would you convert this one into a passive voice in English? It would say, for active voice, the subject is the focus, but in passive voice, the object is the focus. So we would say, if we translate this one into a passive voice, then we'd say, the exotic food are being sold by them. So that's how you form a passive voice in English. But in Filipino, we form it this way, like how you form the active voice in English. Our active voice, which is conversational Filipino, would not be in an SVO pattern. Usually, our sentences in active voice will be formed by starting with a verb. So, we will start with nagtitinda. So I would say, nagtitinda. Who? Sila. So, nagtitinda sila ng exotic food. And one indicator that the sentence is an active voice is we do not use the linking verb anymore. So we just say, nagtitinda sila ng exotic food. Nagtitinda is the verb. Sila is our subject. And exotic food is our object. Then we would say that SVO is in active voice in English, but in Filipino, VSO is the format. Let's have another example. The first example is just an SVO pattern. This time, I included the second pattern. It's the SVA, the subject, verb, adjective. Now, let's see how are we going to convert them or to translate them into Filipino, and then at the same time, let's see how the patterns change. So, in the first sentence, Nico ran across the field. Our subject, Nico. Verb, ran. Across the field, across is a preposition, but our object is the field. This is the object. So what did we say? in conversational Filipino, the pattern would be verb, subject, and then object. So let's translate this one. So what's our verb? Ran. We are going to start in there. So ran is in the past tense. So run in Filipino is takbo. Ran in the past tense, so say tumakbo. We'll start our sentence then with tumakbo. We'll start with a verb. So we say tumakbo. And then next will be our subject, right? Tumakbo. Si Nico. Now, earlier there's nang, which is an object marker. Si, I already explained this in my previous lessons. Si is a personal topic maker. It is an object marker. No, not. This is an object marker. This one is a direct marker. It goes with ang. And I already mentioned that ang, it's like the da in English, and si has no English equivalent. But when you use si, it should always be followed with a name of a person or a person. But when you use ang, it's just for objects or things, okay? So you cannot interchange the use of these two. So in here, we need to introduce Nico. We need to use a personal topic maker, si. So we say ran, tumakbo. Our subject will be Nico, so we say si Nico. Tumakbo si Nico. Across in Filipino is sa. It's a preposition. Tumakbo si Nico sa field is bukid. So when you translate the sentence, Nico ran across the field, which is in SVO pattern. It will become tumakbo si Nico sa bukid. So now it's in VSO. Alright, so for the second sentence, this is an SVA. So he is our subject, ran is our verb, fast is an adjective. So see, it's in SVA. Now, how are we going to translate an SVA sentence? Like in SVO, we do not start with subject anymore, but we always start with, because it's an SVA, we are going to start with the adjective. So, he is siyang, ran is tumakbo, and fast is mabilis. If you are going to translate that in Filipino, I would start with the adjective. So I would say mabilis, siyang. Mabilis siyang, and then ran is tumakbo. Mabilis is your adjective. Look what happened to our, the original word, the original translation of he, if you can still remember in the past lessons, is siya. But then we are going to use a connector. We are going to use a connector so that this one will not sound broken. Siya and then the verb tumakbo would need to be connected to each other. So siya became siyang. Mabilis siyang tumakbo. So it became a adjective, subject, and verb. So SVA will become ASV. So to write the conversion, I will write it down here. So SVO will become VSO because we are using the conversational Filipino, and then SVA will become ASV. I'm going to show you another example because this one, we really have a main verb, tumakbo, ran. But then, what if we are just going to use a linking verb when we form our SVA? Like, for example, in the first sentence that I gave you, Mary is happy. Mary is happy. There is no verb there, then the pattern will change as well. I'm going to show it to you. So I copied the previous example that I gave. The he ran fast is an SVA, and here we have the main verb, ran. It's in the past tense. So the translation from SVA, it will become ASV. But this is what I'm talking about. What if we don't have the real verb, we only have the linking verb, is. So, he is brave. Now, this is still in SVA. He is our subject, our verb is, and then brave is adjective. SVA. But, when we are going to translate this in Filipino, so we'll start with the adjective. So, brave in Filipino is matapang. I would say, matapang siya. He is siya. This is it. In Filipino, we say matapang siya. He is brave. Now, what do we lack here? We don't have the verb anymore. So, we just have the adjective and we'll have the subject. And this sentence is complete. So, we can already understand matapang is brave, siya is the subject. So, if you don't have a verb and you only have the linking verb, SVA will then become AS. So, you omit the linking verb there. So, it's just the adjective and the subject. Another difference between the English language and in the Filipino language when we are constructing our sentence, in English, subject is the subject and the object is the object. Like in this sentence, Bill kicks the ball. Bill is the subject, kicks is the verb, and the ball is the object. But in Filipino, it can be interchanged. I'll show it to you. So in Filipino, everything, like every word that is preceded by a direct markers and C can be the subject. So objects can be the subjects. So let's translate this one in Filipino first. So Bill, when we translate it in Filipino, we always put C, right? Because it's a person. So we cannot start with Bill, but we say si Bill. So si Bill kicks. Kick is sipa. Kicks is in present tense, so sinisipa. Sinisipa. Da is ang. Ball is bola. Si Bill sinisipa ang bola. It sounds broken. We don't say this in Filipino. Though we don't really say this in conversational Filipino, but with the direct translation, remember the first thing that we did is to directly translate word for word, and then it should have the SVO pattern, which is our in the passive voice. But this one, it doesn't even sound like a passive voice in Filipino. We don't have the I here, right? So the translation for this one actually would, if I am going to say this in formal written Filipino, which is in passive voice, I would start with ang bola. I will start with the object. I would say ang bola ay sinisipa ni Bill. See, now the ball, which was originally the object of the sentence, now becomes the subject. And this one is in passive voice in Filipino. Ang bola ay sinisipa ni Bill. Now, Bill here is still the actor. The ball now becomes the subject. This is our verb. It's a linking verb. I and sinisipa is the complete verb. So still, the object became the actor, still the actor, because he is the one doing the action. So in Filipino, we can't really say that subject is subject. We can call them the actor so that we would know which one is really the one doing the action and which one is receiving the action. If I'm going to translate this in English, it would be like the passive voice in English. It would say, ang bola is the ball, right? The ball. Ay sinisipa in English, it could be translated as the ball is being kicked by Bill. Now it sounded like a passive voice in English. Bill kicks the ball. The ball is being kicked by Bill. This is what it is. When we translated this in Tagalog, in Filipino, and it is in passive voice. So it became the actual translation of the English passive voice for this particular sentence. Now, how are we going to convert this one into conversational Filipino? Not in SVO pattern, but in VSO. So I'm going to write it here. Then I would say, I will start with the verb. So, sinisipa, it's still in present tense. Sinisipa ni Bill ang bola. See? Sinisipa is the verb. Bill is your subject. Ang bola is your object. So, from Bill kicks the ball, it will become sinisipa ni Bill ang bola. It become VSO. Never mind this one. I was just trying to show to you the reason behind why we say that subject may not be the subject in Filipino. It's because the object and the subject, as long as they are being preceded by ang or si, then they become the subject. Look at this. Si Bill sinisipa ang bola. Ang bola has this direct marker. We call this a direct marker, ang and si. So if they have this, they can become the subject. And that's all for today, guys. I hope you learned something. In the next lessons, we are going to have some more sentences so we can practice more. And if you have some comments or suggestions regarding our lessons, please write them below, or you can send them directly to nactv@wcgwave.ca. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and please like and share this video. See you again next week. Bye!